Hello everyone. So I'm going to be talking about cofunctions today. It's the next section in our Unit 10 Trigonometric Functions chapter. This is actually a lot easier than you would expect it to be. If you can do sine, cosine, and tangent, you can do exactly what we're talking about today. So probably the most difficult thing that you have to do is be able to subtract a number from 90. So looking at cofunctions. So two acute angles are complementary if, and going back to complementary, that means they add to 90 degrees. This diagram does look a little confusing, so if you want to draw one a little simpler, I can kind of go off of that. So draw a similar diagram that looks like this, so we still have our theta, and we still have PQ here. Okay, but now we're going to be talking about this angle theta in red, and we're going to be talking about this other angle in green, because as you know, those create a 90-degree angle there, so they are complementary. So the measure of the green angle there, this top angle, is actually 90 degrees minus whatever our angle measure is, whatever theta is. So that's pretty much the toughest thing you have to be able to do for this section. So the cosine of the red angle, is going to be P, because it's the first part of that coordinate, so it's P. The sine is going to be Q, because it's the second part. Now the really neat thing is that if you do the sine of 90 minus that, it actually ends up to be P also. So for the green angle, the sine of that is going to be P. And over here, the cosine of the complement is going to be Q. So cosine theta is the same thing as sine of 90 minus theta, or the sine of the complement. The sine of an angle is the same thing as the cosine of the complement. So if you want to make note in that next section, and I know I went through that kind of quick, once you get going, it's a little bit easier than what the explanation sounds like when we're doing examples. So the sine of an acute angle is equal to the cosine of its complement. And these are called cofunctions. Hence the reason you have sine and cosine. The second one is secant and cosecant. Tangent and cotangent. And it's no surprise that they're called cofunctions because it has to do with the complement. So co comes from complement. Cosecant means that the secant and the complement of that angle are the same. So we're going to make a list of things here. So if A and B are complementary angles, so that means if A plus B equals 90 degrees, then the sine of A equals the cosine of B. The cosine of B equals, the cosine of A equals the sine of B. And the tangent of A equals the cotangent of B. What I'd like you to do is go through and tell me, well, we also have secant of A, cosecant of A, and cotangent of A. And I want you to tell me what are those going to be equal to. So take a couple minutes, pause the video and go through that, and then move on to the next example. So looking at example 1, if tangent of 63.44 is 2, they want you to find the value of theta such that cotangent of theta is 2. Well, we know that for tangent and cotangent to be equal, the two angles have to add up to 90. So this angle here, let's call it angle A. And this angle here, let's call it angle B. We know that A plus B has to equal 90 degrees. Well, we know that A is this, 63.44, plus our B equals 90. So to solve that, all you would have to do is subtract 63.44, which ends up to be, oops, I flipped the wrong direction here, 90 minus 63.44 is 26.56. Okay. Example 2. Express sine of 54 as a function of a positive acute angle less than 45 degrees. Well, sine of 54 is going to equal the cosine of the complement. So what is the complement of 54? Well, 90 minus 54 is going to be 36. So sine of 54 is equal to the cosine of 36 degrees. So that is a function of a positive acute angle that's less than 45. Remembering what to do does seem a little tricky, but as you do more and more examples, which we'll do in class tomorrow, it gets a little bit easier. This third example we're actually going to finish in class. So if you want to take a second and attempt it on your own, please do that, and then we'll go through it in class to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Other than that, make sure you're studying your index cards for your quizzes, complete your weekly review for the week, and have a wonderful night.